Welcome back to Bold of You to Say. We're back with another episode.
Welcome to Bold of You to Say, where
like
we have acquired and are actively handing out the heat.
Yeah, it looked like you were gearing up there. It looked like you were going to bring back the yelling.
I am in a dorm room, and there are people probably trying to sleep around
probably
me.
got
and
too many complaints.
I haven't actually, not yet, but
That's surprising.
even though it's only like 8,
Yeah.
I just would prefer. Also, I like my vocal cords. They're fine.
That's true.
The way they are.
Yeah.
I've decided it's not the volume of your message, it's the quality.
Yeah. And regardless, we do bring the heat.
We have acquired the heat, and we are actively handing it out to listeners of this podcast.
This week we talked about M&Ms. They did not listen to my idea. They
Not the rapper.
The candy. They're just,
unless you think M&M the rapper is a snack, but that's not what we're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, hey, to each their own. And then we talked about Justin Roiland. His ass was fired. He's not going to be Rick or Morty anymore. Oh no,
Yep.
What shall we do? And then we talked about Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2, the finale, and Gavin is very happy that we don't have to talk about those movies anymore.
I
I miss them.
it's like when Lord Voldemort died, I'm like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there are timestamps in the description so you can skip around if you want to skip a certain part or if you just can't wait to get to a certain part.
Also, while we're at it, while I'm here, any prospective employers or internship runners, I am joking in this.
Yeah, we don't mean anything we say, especially that part at the end where we denounce anti-Semitism.
I mean, that's not joking.
Actually, that part... okay, we were pretty serious about that.
We're pretty serious about that, but...
That's not good.
If you think I'm not joking or something, and something's... If I don't...
Look,
if I say something mean,
listen, Jack. Here's the
thing. If I say something spicy...
If it was bad, he was kidding. If it was good, he meant every word of it, and it's all his original thought.
Unless you think anti-Semitism is good, in which case I have not changed my mind that anti-Semitism is bad. So
yeah, we don't want you if you think
just
it's good.
ask me in the interview what I meant, and I'll be like, "Wow, you listened to that?"
Yo, listen, if you were a prospective employer,
did you acquire the heat that we brought?
Look, if you're a prospective employer, like and subscribe, okay? Anyway, let's listen, Jack.
I think of myself like no more than a fly. I just jump into it.
So, M&Ms were like, we just wanted to sell some chocolate, and we thought that pandering to women would be the best way to do that.
We got some turkeys.
Yeah. So, yeah, we went over last week how Tucker Carlson single-handedly has led a crusade against the M&Ms for being like too woke and not sexy enough. And I said the M&Ms should double down. They should change the name to Fem&Ms, should make it illegal to dead name them, et cetera, et cetera. I don't remember what the rest of it was, but
exactly.
Oh yeah, now I remember. The other part of it was they should release like all of their packaging should be changed to like sexy green M&M pinup art. But instead of doing that, instead of making a good decision, they put out like a semi apology. So if you click the first link in the show notes, they tweeted, "America, let's talk." I don't like that. I don't like that. That's so like corporate speak, like that just sounds like I don't know. America, let's talk. Like whatever. You think you're so important,
right? In
the last year, we've made some changes to our beloved spokes candies. Really jerking themselves off with this one. We weren't sure if anyone would
spokes candies.
Yeah. We weren't sure if anyone would even notice.
It's weird,
which isn't true because they did it on purpose, and we did. Right. We definitely didn't think it would break the internet, but now we get it. Even a candy's shoes can be polarizing, which was the last thing M&Ms wanted. Again, sorry, Fem&Ms wanted, since we're all about bringing people together. And using slave labor overseas.
Right.
Therefore, we have decided to take an indefinite pause from the spokes candies. In their place, we are proud to introduce a spokesperson America can agree on, the beloved Maya Rudolph. We are confident Miss Rudolph will champion the power of fun to create a world where everyone feels they belong.
Okay. Cool.
Like,
hey, it's just fucking chocolate.
Yeah, it's fucking chocolate. I hate that so much when companies try to make it seem like they're more important than they are. Like, we're just trying to bring the world together, man, by selling basically chocolate chips with a coating.
Yeah.
Like, we're trying to bring some peace to the world. And we also use a lot of child slave labor overseas.
Yeah.
Like, though, I've seen people say, and, I kind of agree with it. People were saying that they did the whole, like, M&Ms thing just so people would not think about how they use slave labor. And, like, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But then, like, I feel like Tucker Carlson got way more upset about the green M&M not having sexy shoes than he would about them using slave labor, which is kind of fucked up.
Right.
It just feels like they were doing all of this anyway. Like, they were gonna have Maya Rudolph signed on anyway, because it's not like you can just get a spokesperson like that. Like, you go through like contract negotiations, and you gotta like, there's like a process to it.
Exactly.
So like, this was just some shit they were gonna do anyway, and they're just dressing it up like, oh yeah, we're really responding to the criticism, and they kind of try to make it look like they're kind of like making fun of conservatives a little bit, because they're like, oh, we didn't know that shoes could be polarizing, but they are also just like kind of capitulating to them. Again, it's not important, but like, I don't know, they are kind of taking a side on it. I don't know, like, it's not an important thing, the whole M&Ms thing. It's just kind of like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, M&Ms?
Why? Just define.
Why did you respond to this at all?
I mean, and it's like when a kid, it's like when two adults get mad over what a kid is doing, and the kid's like, I'm sorry, and it's like, kid, don't be sad. Adults are dumb.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, the people in the comments are just kind of like, they have the same reaction as us, like, what is this? Why are you doing this? One of my favorite things. So someone said, who is in charge over there? And I like this reply, at UMPH on Twitter said, how does Maya Rudolph solve the problem that I can't bang those candies anymore? And like, it's a shit post comment, but it does kind of bring up like this. It seems like kind of a non sequitur. Like, oh yeah, Tucker Carlson is upset that he can't fuck the green M&M, so we're bringing in Maya Rudolph. And that kind of speaks to my point that this was just some shit they were going to do anyway. They're just kind of trying to capitalize on like just some weird culture war outrage. But anyway, yeah, like I struggle to have any commentary on it because it's just kind of nothing. But like, I'm like, it's not that I feel anything very strongly about it. I'm just a little disappointed that they kind of at least made it look like they were capitulating to the right-wing crybabies, basically.
Essentially, yeah.
Essentially. Because, like, if they just brought on Maya Rudolph as a spokesperson, then, like, that's one thing. Like, okay, they do that kind of stuff all the time. But, like, making it about the whole sexy, woke M&M discourse just kind of makes it, like, weird. Also, I would hate to be Maya Rudolph in this situation.
Right.
Like, imagine, like, it's one thing if they're like, hey, we got Maya Rudolph as their spokesperson because we all love Maya Rudolph. Like, that's one thing. But imagine, like, if you were like representing a company and they were like, hey, so Tucker Carlson can't jerk off to the green M&M anymore, so I guess we got this asshole to represent us.
I just find it funny and dumb that the same people who think that like the woke liberal whatevers are trying to sexualize children or something are the same crowd that are saying that, you know, that's not only that's wrong, but that M&Ms are simultaneously too unsexy, but if they were sexy, it would be wrong.
Yeah.
Because it's a chocolate fucking morsel.
Exactly. Yeah, that just kind of goes to show that, like, whenever right-wingers talk about, and it's not true in every case, but it's a general trend that when they, like, complain about like sexualization, it's usually just projection. Because like whenever a drag show happens, like whether it's 18 plus or if it's geared towards kids, whether it's sexual in nature or not, they always call it grooming. And they always say that, like, you know, they're trying to sexualize everything. The liberals are trying to make everything sexy and it's not appropriate for children. Meanwhile, in the same breath, people like Tucker Carlson will complain that the mascot for this candy, like, not that mascots or candy in and of itself is geared towards children, but it's a kid's thing, right? Like no adult is seeing the M&M packaging and be like, hey, I like this cartoon, I'm gonna buy this candy. I mean, like it's kind of for kids, right? Exactly. They'll complain that this mascot isn't sexualized adequately, so it's just fucking projection.
I just don't.
It's just like the anti-gay politicians that turn out to be gay and the pedophile hunters that end up being the biggest pedophiles.
Well, it's just a mix for me of like, one, who the fuck cares? Two, if you can name a child who was like sexually victimized by M&Ms,
right?
I sure, bring it to my attention, and also get that kid therapy, and also if it's like, if criminal action has happened.
Well, if it in the case of M&Ms, it would be they're victimized by the lack of sexuality because the green M&M doesn't have sexy enough shoes.
You know, okay, I literally, whenever a story like this comes out, the epitome of my mindset on all of this is the confused Tom and Jerry meme.
Yeah, like it's. Yeah, like the story is kind of nothing, but it there's just, to the extent that there is anything there, it's bad. You know what I mean? Like it's nothing except for the parts that are bad.
Wow, I just like M&Ms. I just want to eat chocolate.
It's just fucking candy. How
it just doesn't melt in my hands.
Has candy been politicized? How the hell? And not even about something that could be politicized. Like, hey, the Mars company, from what I hear, they use they kind of love to use slave labor.
I can hear Tucker Carlson.
That doesn't get politicized.
I can hear Tucker Carlson saying, throughout this whole story, I've been wondering to myself, especially from this one David Bowie song, is there life on Mars? Are there women on Mars? And are those women sexy?
I know that you're doing a Tucker Carlson impression, but that sounds just like every William Shatner cover song.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
He's just talking.
Yeah, guys, can we start politicizing M&Ms for the correct reasons?
Right.
Can we please
they use child labor?
For using child slave labor, and not because the green M&M doesn't have sufficiently sexy shoes
or boobs.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll say it again. I think they should double down. I think they should just release a series of, like, a line of packaging that's just sexy green M&M pinup art dedicated to Tucker Carlson.
I see Mars being like the dude who's just like, listen, I don't want any trouble. And it's like, there literally isn't any trouble. It's a chocolate morsel.
There's no trouble. Yeah.
There's no trouble. Some dude has just decided to be a dick about it.
Just throwing a tantrum on a slow news day.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my take on the M&Ms update. Just again, I feel bad for Maya Rudolph because she's just kind of in the middle of all this.
Yeah,
like, hey,
I agree with you.
Our M&Ms aren't sexy enough according to Tucker Carlson, so we're gonna wheel out Maya Rudolph to. Will that make you happy?
Imagine signing up to be just like a voice of a character, a fictitious character who is an anthropomorphized candy, and then someone's like, "That's not sexy enough," and that is what makes the news, right? Imagine, and you're just like there. And they're like, you aren't sexy enough. And it's like, I'm the voice.
Yeah, the weird thing is that they're bringing on Maya Rudolph as the spokesperson, not Maya Rudolph voicing an M&M, just Maya Rudolph, the actor.
We could be fixing world hunger right now.
Yeah, we could give everyone a lifetime supply of M&Ms to fix world hunger, but instead...
We could be fixing that debt ceiling issue right now.
Yeah, this is what we do instead of fixing things. Shit. Yeah. Anyway, you want to talk about Justin Roiland's ass getting fired?
I guess he's just an awful, terrible human being.
Yeah.
And am I surprised? Not entirely. I was a little surprised because it was like I can see him like beating his wife.
Well, like it's a surprise to hear that anyone committed domestic assault.
Right. But sorry.
You yawn so aggressively.
Yeah, I just have to get it out.
You yawn with a grudge.
You should see me in the car.
Jesus.
Dude, I scream. I could see Justin Roiland beating his wife. Not that it's a good thing or acceptable. I'm just saying I can see it. But I can't, like, what was surprising to me was that, like, he also, like, imprisoned his wife in the house.
Yeah, he's up on...
Allegedly.
Yeah, domestic assault and false imprisonment charges.
So...
Yeah, and I guess I'll say this as background. We were talking on the phone a few days ago about how people were already kind of getting tired of Justin Roiland's whole shtick.
Right.
You know, like his whole like, oh, Rick, ad lib something. Oh, Morty, I'm gonna put a thing in your butt, Morty.
Right.
Interdimensional cable. Oh, this guy, he's got ants in his eyes, Morty. Oh, I don't write scripts. I just get drunk and say random things. And,
exactly.
And then I make people animate it, Morty. Yeah, like people were already getting tired of Rick and Morty. Like every season, there's a bunch of people that are like, "Oh, this is going downhill."
Right.
And then he had that new game come out, High on Life, and people were kind of annoyed by that because he does the same like shtick there, and it's like really annoying. I don't know. I haven't played it. I've just seen people talk about it. So people were already like kind of done with him. And he just kind of put the final nail in the coffin by being a horrible person and a wife beater.
Right. And like, yeah,
so, like,
I mean, there's nothing else to say, really.
Yeah,
just
I don't see his career coming back from this.
No, I don't either. He's probably going to be living off the Rick and Morty gravy train for a little while, but like, yeah.
I mean, he's probably going to always get residuals.
Right. And I mean, do you think he's going to get blacklisted though? Like if he just comes up with another show idea?
I don't know.
I think Hollywood would hire him again if it's that profitable.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they really just focus on like, can I make money off of this person? Because it is it's a for-profit institution, entertainment.
Right.
So like, they're gonna go with what makes them money. But yeah, that's why I say like his career might be over because people were already tired of his whole thing. So I don't know if people would want another show that's just Justin Roiland. Because Rick and Morty, like, say what you will about it, at least Dan Harmon is there to balance out his like the stupid like fart joke side of it with a lot of like high concept like sci-fi and smart writing.
Yeah, you do have to be high IQ to understand Rick and Morty.
To be fair, it takes a very high IQ to understand Rick and Morty. But yeah, they're actually going to keep the show going.
We're joking, right?
The show, it's still going.
No, we're joking. Like it takes a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty, right? Yes. I was being facetious.
Yes. Do you know it takes a high IQ to understand Rick and Morty copy pasta? Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure you did too.
No, I know.
Okay. All right.
Yo, I'm glad we got that. Ironically thinks you got to be smart to watch the fart joke show.
The motherfucker says wubba lubba dub dub. I don't think this is the pinnacle of human creation.
It is fart jokes in space, basically.
Yeah, which it can be entertaining. I'm not saying it can't be entertaining. I'm just saying you don't have to.
Well, like they do some like cool sci-fi concepts and stuff, and like there's some smart writing depending on the episode.
Well, right, but like I'm not saying you don't have to read the comprehensive works of Nietzsche to Nietzsche to understand Rick and Morty.
Yeah, but anyway, they're actually going to keep the show going,
and they're going to have Chris Pratt as the voice actor. Funny enough, yeah. So it's just going to sound like Chris Pratt as a drunk old man and Chris Pratt as a little boy.
Yeah. Well, people were like speculating, like, is the show going to be going? Because there was like a week or two between the news coming out that Justin Roiland was arrested and Adult Swim responding. So like people were like, what is it? Is the show done? Are they going to keep it going? I guess they're going to keep it going without the guy that does like a lot of the writing and all of the voices.
Right. Which granted, voices, when it comes down to it, aren't really special. It's the person behind the voice that's expensive.
Like they can get a sound alike.
Right. Or even just use an AI that can, like, he has enough audio just there. Yeah. That they can just use an AI to say the lines.
Yeah, it's going to sound weird if they use AI at this point.
Morty!
Morty, I gotta put a thing in look at those trees. Yeah. But it's the show's gonna be different. It might suffer in quality because like there's a certain something that Justin Roiland adds creatively.
Hey, do you know what? Do you know what kind of shirts marsupials wear?
What kind do they wear, Gavin?
Koala tees.
That's great. Thank you for that. Thank you for your addition.
You're welcome.
Yeah. But I think the more important thing is I'm glad that the writers don't have to be around him anymore.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's not only just probably slightly annoying and probably really hard to work with, but also just kind of a gross guy. I just imagine him not being like like not just like physically, like, but like just saying gross stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And
well, like the reason I say it is that like I'm sure a lot of people's takeaway is going to be like, oh no, the show's going to be worse now. Or like, oh, it's not going to be the same without him. But I think that's a lot less important than the writer's room feeling safe.
Right.
So it's good that they got him out.
This guy. Well, he was also probably a functioning alcoholic, so...
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, like if I was a writer there, especially like a woman writer there, like I would not feel safe continuing to work with him, and I'm glad that they got him out.
Right. Exactly.
So, good for the other writers. I hope this show is still successful for their sake. Yeah, I already pre-ordered the season 6 Blu-ray, which is bad because that will have some money going towards Justin Roiland. I think it's balanced out by the fact that money is going to the rest of the people that worked on it too. But on the other side of that, I'm going to watch the show anyway. So if I'm not watching it on streaming, I can watch it as many times as I want. Not in a single additional dime will go to Justin Roiland. So
right.
Yeah, it's one of the things that
dropped
people
out of Rick and Morty.
Yeah. It
was all right.
Yeah, I kind of got back into it like a couple months ago. You know, I started rewatching it. I watched season 6, which I thought was decent, but yeah, that's one of the things that isn't talked about as much when it comes to physical media. How you can, not to turn this into another physical media conversation, but you can watch Harry Potter if you have it on DVD or Blu-ray without supporting J.K. Rowling.
Exactly.
Yeah. Fuck J.K. Rowling. Fuck Justin Roiland now.
But not literally.
Don't. That's very dangerous. So don't do it. But anyway, we watched a movie this week.
We did.
Technically
not this week. It was last night.
So okay, well, it is Sunday as of recording. So last week, technically, we watched
by technicality.
By technicality. So this is the last. Gavin, I'm sure, is very happy that this is the last installment in the Twilight franchise. So this is the last movie that we're gonna watch before we rewatch it and do another retrospective and start over with the first movie.
Snipers on your location, and I will tell them to pull the trigger.
So what did you think about the final installment?
I felt like there were a lot of really good chances for like world building that they just never took, right? It's like literally all about this like gushy fucking romance thing.
Yeah.
And I get that's their audience. Like, I get that's who they're trying to get. But I feel like it just would have been a better movie had they been like, oh, by the way, this is how the vampire society is sort of structured.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how it works. It looks like they have special powers. When did that happen? I mean, granted, yeah, okay, it happened to the first movie because the one lady could see the whatever, but...
Yeah, they all have special powers, but they really, like, ramp it up in this one, where they're just kind of throwing everything against the wall. Like, oh, this guy is Avatar the Last Airbender. This guy...
Right.
This guy was in the American Revolution.
Also, I didn't know that Freddie Mercury was a vampire.
Yeah. Yeah, I was gonna make a joke, but it feels insensitive. I won't say the first part. I'll just say it turns out he was just turning people into vampires.
You fucking asshole.
I can say it because I'm a Freddie Mercury fanboy. I think that means I can say it.
Dude, that one scene though where the main baddie vampire is just like, bring me the child.
Yeah.
And the child comes up to him and he's just like, yeah. He starts singing like Yoko Ono.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
What the fuck was that?
Dude, I love the Volturi so much. And I just get it tickles me every time they're on screen. Cause like it's just like these random fuckers that are always following this guy around, and then this Joker sounding ass who's like, "Bring me that child."
Bring me that.
He sounds like Skeletor.
That, he does. I actually though, if I were like a human there, I'd be like, I will pay you in my blood to say jokes on you. I'm into that shit. I will pay you.
Yeah.
I really hope that when they move really fast, like, cause I guess it takes a second to get used to.
Yeah.
I hope that they're actually breaking the sound barrier. I think that'd be really funny. No, cause you're just trying to sit down or go to another room and you just hear a sonic fucking boom and then all of the...
I actually just added that to the soundboard today.
Oh, nice.
The Vine boom.
Yeah, you just hear a sonic fucking boom, and then all the wind.
Hey, Bella, you want me to get you a drink?
And then all the windows in your house just shatter.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, anyway, yeah, that's a good transition into the first main plot point. Bella is now a vampire after years of drawing it out, and teasing us. They turn her into a vampire. And I will say the thing that stands out to me most about her transition to being a vampire is that, like, it just reminds me that canonically vampires just are better than people in every way.
Yeah.
Like, if you become a vampire, it will undo any injuries you've had. It'll give you rouge. Like, it just makes you objectively hotter, and that is in the lore.
Right. Exactly.
For some fucking reason, it just makes you hot.
Yeah. I have yet to see an ugly ass fat fucking vampire.
Yeah, there are no fugly vampires.
No, and I want to see him running at like Mach 2. Just you just see this blob like boom. Yeah, and then I like here's what I don't like. I don't like that their child Renesmee.
Stupid fucking name.
Dumb fucking
worst name ever.
I hate it. Just call her like, I don't know, like Karen. Name her Karen.
As horrible a name as that is now, it's still better than Renesmee.
Right, but would it be funny if she like if it's spelt with like some random vowels sprinkled in there, so it's like it looks like it's spelt like Renez or like Renee or something, right? And they're like, "Oh, Renee," and she's like, "Actually."
The only way that you could make that name worse is if you did that white people shit where they have like the A at the end be like a EIGH. That's the only way you could make that name worse. You give them that live, laugh, love shit.
With that. I like how so first off, they find also like another one of the half human, half vampire mixed dudes.
Yeah.
Right? And this guy's a dude. I just feel like him and Renesmee would have been a better pair than her and Jacob.
I just feel like this child...
Because I feel like the Jacob thing is weird. I feel like that's fucking
That is
freaky.
weird. Yeah. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. But I just feel like you shouldn't pair up this kid with anyone because she is like a number of weeks old.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like yeah, she has the appearance of a 7-year-old, but she's like a month old.
I
like,
did notice that they seem
baby.
to have... I didn't see any scenes of like the infant with the long hair.
What do you mean?
Remember when she was an infant, there was that picture of Renesmee with long hair, but like it was like Uncanny Valley.
Yeah. Dude, have you seen...
Did they cut that?
I don't know. Have you seen the pictures of like the practical baby they had on set?
Yeah, that's fucking freaky.
Yeah. I'd almost respect it if they used that instead of trying to CGI over it.
Right.
Just make it this horrible like abomination of a creature.
Yeah, make it like a skeleton with skin at first until it like can feed or something.
Yeah, really lean into how horrific this whole sequence of events has been. Because like the pregnancy, that was so visceral and like uncomfortable, and it like drained Bella's life force.
Exactly.
All just to give birth to a regular ass looking baby.
Yeah.
Like that shit should be Lovecraftian.
Also, yeah, but like also I okay, for the child's like lifespan. That's the thing I have an issue with. Because they could give it like they're like, "Oh yeah, so the vampires are mortal, humans live at best like 100 years, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, "Well, okay, how about this like half human, half vampire? Let's keep the immortality, but make it so like they have to eat normal human food. Like they're for all purposes like pretty much just human.
Yeah, it can eat regular food or like exist on blood. Which is weird.
Yeah.
Like I hate that like sci-fi trope of something being like a hybrid of two like separate species, like, and it just has the abilities of both. Like if it's like a fish mammal hybrid, it has lungs and gills. Like why is it both things?
Like if we're talking from a taxonomy perspective, right? That means that Renesmee is technically like a new species of human.
Kind of, yeah. If vampires are like a separate species, which they're just people. They're people with a condition. They're people with a medical condition.
It's like, that's the thing. I wish they would have just put more borders around that.
Yeah.
Also, I like how they do the Sherlock Holmes thing and they show the fight before the fight.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask, what did you think of that? The fake out.
It was stupid. No, it was stupid. I thought that was really dumb.
So did you know about that going in?
No, I didn't.
Oh, man.
I was like, wow, they killed the doctor. How about that?
Yeah.
No, but I thought it was good because it's like, okay. They killed Doctor Who. Yeah, that's how I mentioned it in my brain. But like, I was like, okay, no, that like makes sense. It's the last movie. This fight is like to them worth a lot, and that's one of the exchanges that they had to make.
Oh man, the people making this movie have balls.
Right. Like they're like, no, this is like that's just what has to happen. And then it's like, this is what happens when you try to fight us. You die. You die. Yeah. And it's like, okay, but isn't like them dying, just conceptually, them dying and you losing a couple of people that you love, isn't that like for long term so much better than having this constant threat where they could just come back any other day?
Yeah, well, like they kind of
more vampires.
Yeah, well, like the whole point of that is to send the message that the Volturi need to back the fuck off or they will all die. Because like at the end of the day, they are kind of selfishly motivated. They're not trying to like look out for the greater good. They're just trying to maintain power. So it's
sounds
almost
a lot like politics.
Yeah, it's just not worth it to them to try to go after this kid. Because one, she's not actually a threat. Just like to the vampire species. And also it's more of a threat to their power if they do go after her. So it's just kind of like...
Can she have children? She like...
I don't know, but I feel like Jacob's going to try.
Oh, no, she does. No, she does with Edward. Or not with you. That would have been weird. Oh. She does with Jacob.
Did they show that in the vision?
It just says, I looked it up because I was curious. Oh. And yeah, she does. They have 2 children.
That's gross.
Which would make the children half vampire, half werewolf, right?
It would make them
quarter
vampire, quarter human, quarter half werewolf.
Right.
I want to see how that would work out.
I
like to think it would be like a blob.
I would like to see
I like to think it would look like a blobfish or Ted Cruz or something gross like that.
I want to see it like they have the transforming powers of the werewolf, but they turn into a bat.
But so like a fucking vampire, like a real vampire.
Right. But
going back to my point that these are not real vampires.
Right. But instead of being like an actual bat, it'd be like a half human, half bat because their genetics are now fucked.
Just an abomination.
Just like a
yeah.
Kill me.
Yeah, just and I like to think that they're like struggling to turn back and they're just like, kill me.
Wait, okay, hold on. Does that mean if they drink the blood of someone with sickle cell anemia that like it's not as filling because it's like half a blood cell?
Yeah, I think we've gone over that. I don't know. Like if they drink like blood like that or like diseased blood.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. But yeah, one thing that I noticed.
What if it's like fine wine to them? What if it's like, ooh, I have some of that sickle cell blood.
Yeah.
You know how many people have sickle cell? Not a lot. That's why this blood is rare.
That's why I'm drinking it out of a wine glass.
Exactly. Yeah. Have you seen the movie Darksiders? I think that's what it's called.
Daybreakers?
Daybreak. Have you seen the movie Daybreakers?
I'm perfectly imagining Arrow doing this. The Volturi guy.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh, dude.
But yeah, one thing that I've noticed is I sorely miss in the later movies in this series is just the lack of like human perspective.
Right.
Like I mentioned it last episode. Like I miss when there were human characters that could just be like, what the fuck is up with this guy?
Right. Like I don't know. I wish humans would have gotten like this is the thing. The world building could have been done. You know, they could have opened up a little bit to the humans and been like, see, like, listen, some of us have to drink blood. But the good news is you guys have a huge cattle market where you guys like already drain the blood from cows anyway.
Mm-hmm.
We'll drink that.
Yeah.
We'll take that. Sure. Yeah. Right. Like we'll do that. And that's fine. We'll have to train to like not like kill you, but like you guys train to not kill each other anyway. So
right.
Like objectively kind of the same thing. At least we do it for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked before about how it's not that hard to let vampires live in society. Like, it doesn't take that much effort to assimilate them.
And the more vampires you have, that's infinite taxation.
Yeah. Very true.
Infinite taxation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the good news is, like, they don't need to pay for, like, housing. Like, live forever. Like,
yeah.
You can make them second-class citizens.
Jesus. Maybe it's better for them to stay in hiding then. Actually, it turns out. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the world building, because like they do it feels a little half-assed in this one, because it
totally is.
They're just kind of
100%.
throwing stuff at you, and it's like this is kind of something, but there's something there that could be fleshed out. Too bad we're never gonna do it.
I think a really interesting, like, good subplot in that would also add some really good world building would be if, like, when all the vampires are coming to see Renesmee, if, like, there was, like, a wrench thrown where it's like, oh, shit, humans are kind of getting a whiff of this.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And we need to, like,
driving into town. Why did that guy just run by our car on the freeway? Why did we hear this sound outside of the window?
Right, exactly. And then also, like, why are so many people inexplicably dying with 2 puncture holes in their neck and all their blood drained?
Yeah.
That's curious.
Yeah.
And so, like, they have to, like, either, like, they're left with a conundrum of, like, hey, how do we, like, be like, hey, hi, we exist, tax us, I guess. Also, we have this, like, potential vampire war is gonna happen. Can you guys help with that? Something you can do?
Yeah. What I think about a lot is how, like, they don't really, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to phrase this, because, like, there's a guy that's from the American Revolution on the Cullen team. Like, there's there's a lot of interesting stuff there, but it feels like it's just kind of surface level. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot that is, like, that could be cool to see surrounding that.
Well, I mean, there's that, but we've, like, I would also like to have seen, like, a character development that's, like, because he still hates the British.
Yeah.
But, like, those British aren't, like, shit's changed, man. It's, like, no longer just that.
We're in a post-Beatles world.
We're in a post-Beatles world, and that was, like, 200 years after the fact.
Well, what I mean is, like, this guy was in the American Revolution, right? And now he exists now. But, like, I don't know. Like, when you see, like, a super old character, like, I just like like, I think about how, like, oh shit, this guy was, like, around for a lot of things. This guy witnessed the rise and fall of disco. This guy witnessed the first, like, fucking recording.
Right.
Like, I don't know. It just feels like a guy plucked from the 1770s and put into now. You know,
right? Well,
like,
you know, there's
it's just surface level,
right? And, like, especially when we've seen that, like, hey, these vampires also go through character development, because there was one of the guys who fought in the fucking Civil War.
Yeah, I would love to see the American Revolution guy and Jasper, like, meeting for the first time. Like, hey, did you know that I was in a very famous American war? Oh, I was too. Oh, which side of the war were you on? Which war was it? Oh, that's not important.
Right.
It's like, no, I was on the American side of the Revolutionary War. What war did you fight in? I mean, there's no need to be ashamed of it. Like, what were you in Vietnam? You know, we all make mistakes. Oh, I was in a slightly less justified war. You sound kind of sound a little antebellum there, son. Dinner's ready. I just like the idea of Jasper, like, being like, this guy probably wouldn't like my history.
Exactly. I also think the vampires from the jungle, or from
the Amazon.
The Amazon. I think they were overpowered and underutilized.
Yeah, they also just felt like a little, like, racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but just like, yeah, we got black ones too.
Like, it kind of feel like it's giving original Oompa Loompas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like it's they're these like overly like exotic depictions of people that are just
also
from
they
a
have,
place.
like, very European features too.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, they just felt
the
kind of
Amazon in South America anyway.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, it just felt weird.
Not that there aren't black people in South America, but anyway, I think the inclusion was good. I just wish that they would have like not just been like these faux pas of what we imagine Amazonian people to be like.
Right. Well, yeah, like their depiction was kind of like, ooh, look at these scary people that are from a different place. Look, they're so scary because they're not white.
Right.
Like, and we have like two actual honest to goodness, like, like Transylvanian vampires. Like, I want to suck your blood. And they're
Russian.
And they're less scary than the people that just are from the Amazon.
Oh, also they're right. They're 100% right. They're like, no, like actually though, because like,
yeah, wasn't their whole thing like, hey, we were kicked out of our castle.
We're kicked out of our castle. We didn't do anything wrong. We just existed. And yeah, these guys are assholes. They're going to come here and they're going to kill that kid. Like that's what they're going to do. Even if you've done nothing wrong, that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
And so they're going to put on a front like there's some sort of law and order to this, but there isn't. They're here to kill that kid.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we're going to try to talk to them first. And that's fine. But then when like, what's her face is like, you know, I have proof that she's not a threat to vampire kind.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And she's like, oh, you were just going to kill us regardless.
Yeah.
Like, they were right, man.
Right.
They were right.
Yeah, exactly.
So, sorry, not sorry. They should have just been like, okay, yeah, some of us will have to die, but like,
yeah,
that's what it costs.
Yeah, it just serves as like characterization for the Cullens because they like, you know, they try to do stuff the right way. They try to see the good in people. You know, they're vampires, but like they're not monsters.
Well, right, but like this isn't like a debate of like, not a debate between you and I, but like in terms of like them debating. It's not a debate of like of whether or not the Volturi want to fight. It's a matter of when that fight will happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And all the Cullens just want to exist. They just want to like be vampires in the woods. And
well, it is also important that the Volturi do not see you as a threat, or else they will try to kill you. So like you got to make it really clear, like, hey, we're not looking for a fight. And that's like the whole assembling the witnesses thing. Like, hey, you know, we're just trying to get by. And then the second part of that is showing them, like, hey, if you do try to fight us, like, you will end up dead.
Well, you know, that's true. I liked that bit where she's like, I don't want to fight you. We don't ever want to fight you.
Yeah,
and that's
big
what's gonna
dick
happen.
move.
You also lose when you try to fight us. So
yeah.
That's what's going to happen next. Now,
yeah, kind of the epitome of speak softly and carry a big stick.
Right. But I wish she would have been like, hey, have you seen that one Sherlock Holmes movie starring Robert Downey Jr.? Get ready to have your mind fucking blown.
Yeah, I'd punch him and then I dodge his punch and then I punch him. That's basically what those scenes are like.
Imagine if it's just her describing what happens.
Oh, I would love it if the last 15 minutes of the movie were Alice being like, so he's trying to catch Moriarty, but Moriarty is like in the shadows the whole time, and he's like he's sending people. He like bombs a place, but you know no one knows it's him. But he leaves behind a note that is for Sherlock, and like no one else knows what it is, but he sees it, and he's like, my old nemesis. And so then, you know, he tries to go to thing, and did you know that Moriarty is actually trying to start World War I, and he almost he tries to send weapons to a place and make it look like they were coming from another place, and then Sherlock Holmes is like, "Hey, Moriarty, I'm gonna catch you." And then Moriarty hooks him onto a meat hook, and then his shoulder's fucked up. And then Moriarty's like, "I'm gonna kill Watson," and Sherlock is like, "No, I'm gonna beat you in chess and also kill you."
I just think it would be funny if like if she does that, right? She's just like, here's the fight, and then they stop doing the mind meld or whatever, and and he's just
basically what it is.
And he's just like, wow, that was like that scene from Sherlock Holmes starring Robert Downey Jr. Wow, how fascinating. Can you always do that?
I like to think if it is Alice explaining the whole plot of the movie, I like to think she'd be like, actually, here, I had Renesmee watch the movie while we were preparing for the battle. So here, just like, touch her hand. She's going to project the movie into her head. Trust me, it's really good.
I'd like him to be like, wow, can you do that on the stock market too?
Yeah.
Wait, can we do insider trading?
Yeah.
We don't have to fight anymore. We have infinite money.
Yeah, that would be a way better ending to the movie. They just work with the Volturi to do insider trading.
And like this movie takes place in like it would be great if this movie takes place in like 2005 and they're the reason for the stock market crash of 2008.
That would be great. This will be the second time I've brought up this movie, but the movie Remember Me, starring Robert Pattinson, the one that ends with 9/11
one. Yeah,
that would be like the 9/11 ending of this franchise.
I think it'd be funny if the dude was like, wait, so what did you like when September 11th, 2001 happened? What, like, where were you? She's like, oh, I was just chilling out with my books in my mind.
I was actually looking out for 9/11. I was trying to see what was going to be on TV.
Yeah, I was actually getting
I thought it was a new action movie coming out, but turns out it was just news footage.
Turns out it's for real. And he's like, wow, that's fucked up. Like 3,000 people died, right? Like, that's a lot of blood. We could have just eaten them all.
It'd be great.
Look at all those turkeys.
Imagine the end of we're in the final battle. We got all the good guy vampires versus all the bad guy vampires. And Arrow's like, oh, I see you've brought your army. Oh, you're no match for us. And then they're like, yeah, we're no match for you, but he is. And then Abraham Lincoln walks into frame. It's like make
Abraham Lincoln a vampire then?
No, he's just still around. He was never assassinated. So he's still alive.
Turns out he's half vampire.
No, he was just never assassinated, so he never died. And then he's like, hey, it's like my mentor always said, when a woman when she
look at all
when
those
she kills
turkeys.
when she drinks it was a long time ago, guys. I don't remember what he said.
Hold on a second. No, it's like, wouldn't it be great? He comes out on the battlefield and he's just like, it puts the lotion on its skin or else it gets the hose again. And they're like, what? And he's like, oh, sorry, wrong movie.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anyway.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah. Anyway, I think the last thing that I want to bring up is actually the beginning of the movie. So as we talked about before, being a vampire just makes you better than everyone, just makes you better than people. It turns out that canonically you just fuck harder and more often when you're a vampire.
Right.
Like, that's just part of the process. It's not just a Bella and Edward thing. Like they
you just have more energy.
They mentioned that, like, I think Rosalie and Emmett, like they were just fucking for a straight month when they were turned, or when one of them was turned or whatever. Yeah, fuck hard. I like to think, and this is all just set up to use a new thing that I added to the soundboard. But do you think this is what it sounds like when Bella and Edward do it?
I'm coming. Bella, I don't want you to come.
That's what I think it sounds like. I found that while I was editing the Twilight Eclipse review clip.
I use the term master comedian often, but in this case, man, good job. One other thing I wanted to point out, I think it would be funny if, like, the secret gets out that vampires are a thing, right? and the Volturi are approached by the U.S. military, right? And they're like getting ready for battle, and they're like getting all vampired up or whatever they do.
Mm-hmm.
They're Morbin, and and
I want Arrow. I want to hear Arrow say it's Morbin time.
It's Morbing time. Oh, also, why doesn't he have an Italian accent? I never understood that.
Yeah.
I feel like he wouldn't bring his dignity down enough to be like not Italian. Anyway,
it's a me, the Volturi.
It's a me, the Volturi. No, it's just Chris Pratt.
Hey yo, it's a me,
it's
Arrow
a me.
from the Volturi. Hey, I hear you got a vampire kid. That's we don't do that.
I don't like
it's not
that.
Good. Jesus wouldn't
I think
like
it'd be
that.
Funny.
I'm very Christian.
Even though I kill on a regular basis.
I, Chris Pratt, am Christian.
You're right. I think it'd be funny if they're morbing up, they're getting ready for battle with the U.S. military, and they're like, nah! And the U.S. military comes up and they're like, hi, have you ever thought about a career in the U.S. military? We're hiring, and we've heard you guys are pretty good.
Yeah, we were on our way to the local high school, and we overheard you guys. You guys sound like some natural-born killers.
What is that? You need some blood? Sure, we can find many a civilian.
Yeah. You can drink as much of it as you like after you kill those people at that wedding.
Listen, we'll just retire the drones. You guys can run as fast as one anyway, and
it'll sound like this.
We just want you to take them out.
Yeah, but anyway, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2, best movie ever, I would say.
I would actually say the last bit was kind of like, aw, I can see why people were like, all nostalgic about it.
Yeah, because it is like an event. If you're a fan of the series, this movie is an event. Like I mentioned it before, it is Twilight Endgame. So
pretty much,
I kind of like the kind of, the dramatic, end credits, where it goes through like everyone that was in the franchise.
Right.
And it
again, I will maintain this though, like every single like steamy scene, each one, I'm like, nah, I'll pass. Each one is like, I'm good.
That's fair.
I don't want to see Kristen Stewart naked. Fair. I just don't care to see that. I just don't. She doesn't. No, I'm good.
The last thing I'll say is I'm glad that Charlie got a happy end. He got a happy ending. To bring that back.
Bring that back.
I'm glad that
he got a fondue.
He got a fondue. He ended up with the lady. The one that he was like, I like you, and then Jacob's dad was like, hey, fuck you for that. He ended up with the one lady. I don't remember like, how she's related to the rest of the werewolf people.
He looks like Iggy Pop.
Who does?
That one vampire from the American Revolution.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Like, I know of Iggy Pop. I don't know the first thing
Just
about.
Google him.
Okay.
But, like, I also hate how he's not like, I would like to meet your acquaintance in 3 fortnights. Instead, he's like, I'll follow you anywhere, woman.
Yeah.
It's like he made it to the 70s and just never got out of that mindset. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, well, like I was saying earlier, how he feels like just a guy from the 1770s plucked into now. Like, I feel like a similar thing about Edward, where he's just kind of like a guy from like 1910, like just transferred to now. But like he lived through the 50s. He must have had a pompadour at some point.
What if he was like actually part of the segregation movement?
Oh no.
Right.
Bella's like, hey, Edward, by the way, I don't think we've ever talked about this. Where were you during the 1950s and 60s?
What were you doing during Brown versus the Board of Education Supreme Court case?
I know you mentioned you were at one of the civil rights protests, but you never mentioned which side you were on.
Right. Wait, hold on. So Jacob and Renesmee are together. And
very
Renesmee,
gross, very disgusting relationship.
Weird, just fucking weird.
Literally grooming.
Actually, allegedly, Renesmee will live well into her hundreds or something, into her first century of second century of living. But Jacob is still like mortal.
Yeah. Well, like werewolves age slower, but they do still age.
Right.
I think they only age when they're in human form. So like the longer you're in werewolf form, like the longer you live, basically.
That doesn't make any sense because dogs have a really short lifespan.
Yeah.
Relatively speaking.
And they're also not 10 feet long.
This is where you just don't think about it and you go, okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
okay.
Everything about Jacob, especially his relationship with Renesmee, you don't want to think about it.
It's just because also weird.
They also mention that you become like when you are like her type of thing, you become like fully grown at like 7 years old.
Yeah.
So they try to make it they try to make it like less weird when they show Renesmee and Jacob when she's like quote unquote of age, but like she could just be like 6 years old, like or like 8 years old, or
right.
That is still a child. And regardless, like you still groomed her ever since even before she was born.
Right. I'm not going to touch that with a fucking 30-foot pole. I have nothing to say on that.
Yeah. Anyway, weird. Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. Best movie ever. Best franchise ever.
Besides the potential pedophilia.
Yeah. Yeah, other
it's
than
all
that,
right.
Best movie ever. Best series ever. So, Gavin,
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
This is done.
You're happy it's done?
I'm so fucking happy. I will admit, Twilight, if you just skip the first movie, just skip the first movie. Everything else is okay to watch as long as you just turn your brain off.
I think I think the first one is one of the more entertaining installments.
I just love
it feels
how he
more
goes
stylized.
From, like, at the beginning of it, like looking like white as a sheet. Like this kid either like has an iron deficiency or bleaches his skin.
Yeah.
Because damn, to like, oh no, you look mostly human.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, he's putting on some blush.
Yeah, they just kind of give up on the idea that these are like creatures. These are like pale, like porcelain creatures.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it'd be funny if he put on makeup and then like ran really fast and then all of it rubs off.
Yeah.
Like, well, I was running 300 miles per hour.
Sounding like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, next week.
It wouldn't be funny if Edward starts a prank YouTube channel using his super speed to prank people.
Yeah. And like normally YouTubers will edit in the Vine boom, but he just does it. Just does it naturally.
You're like.
Anyway, Gavin, you have a movie that for next week that you want to cover.
I do. The Emoji Movie.
Yeah, it's not what I remember you saying.
The Menu.
The Menu.
And on the menu is the Emoji Movie.
Yeah. So you were telling me that it's about like I don't know much about it. You were telling me that it's a movie about a chef that like kills people.
Not like Hannibal Lecter style. Okay, so what happens is I don't know much about the plot, but we all know that there's like this now cult of personality around celebrity chefs, right? And like you always want to eat the food from a celebrity chef because that's like the best food you'll ever get and taste or whatever. Kind of follows that mentality. But like with the idea of like, what if this chef just starts hating his clients?
That's great.
And it's just like, I used to love this art because it's good, but all the people who are criticizing my food, like critics and people who enjoy my food and people who idolize me, know nothing about cooking and tasting and know nothing about like any of what I do.
They think that gas stoves make a difference.
Right. Wouldn't that be funny if that's his thing? Like that's the thing he's hung up about.
Suck, and I'm gonna kill you about it.
No. Everyone else thinks that gas stoves suck, and he's just like, they're fine. They work fine. I don't know. But yeah, so in this movie, he's having like an event on a ship, I guess, and he invites a bunch of guests who he particularly loathes for all different reasons. And there's a bunch of like biblical and philosophical little story plots, subplots in that. He kills them all, except for one person.
That's great. That's awesome.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it stars Voldemort and that one meth dealer from Breaking Bad.
Oh, I was gonna say Walter White, but that's just the guy.
Not
Bryan
him, not
Cranston?
that actor. Not Bryan Cranston. No.
Oh, the sidekick?
No.
Oh.
It's one of the cartel guys.
Okay, I don't know.
I just know it because
I have to...
shamefully I'm on YouTube Shorts and they show a lot of Breaking Bad clips.
Oh,
and,
you're horrible for that.
And they do the evil guitar music sound.
Yeah. All right, I have to go to the bathroom because I drank a lot of soda.
I have to too.
So
I'll go to the bathroom as well, and we will meet in the middle.
This is this is the sound of me going. And now Gavin's running away, and it sounds like.
So,
I'm back.
Interesting fact: while you were gone, I tried to convert my college transcript from a JPEG to a PNG, and I have to pay them.
You have to pay to do that?
I have to pay a subscription to do that.
To convert it from a JPEG to a PNG?
Right.
Shit, I'd keep the JPEG. It's not worth it.
It's not. It's not, no.
Yeah, way better. Well, this goes for you and anyone listening. If you want to just convert a PNG to a JPEG or vice versa, any basic image manipulation like that, changing a file type, just use GIMP and just import the JPEG, export as a PNG or vice versa. Just do that. It's free. It's an open source software. Don't pay Adobe a subscription.
I'm not going to.
I don't. Adobe makes good software, but I just hate that they've moved to a subscription model. It used to be you could just buy their software.
Right.
You would have an Adobe Premiere license for whatever version you bought. Then you can you can pay to upgrade it to the next edition if you want. But now you just pay a very expensive subscription. And you have to pay indefinitely if you want to keep using the software, or you could pirate it. But you didn't hear that from me. I don't pirate Adobe software. Haley gets it for free from the university, so I just kind of mooch off of her on that. Yeah, once she graduates, I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Right. Might have to switch to a different recording software. I don't know. Anyway, recommendations of the week. If you have any, add them. But I
actually do.
Awesome. You should add those. So
actually, as a matter of fact, great. Shut the fuck up, Gavin. I'm talking.
So I mentioned probably multiple times in the last few episodes, but Jordan Peterson has said some vaguely genocide denying stuff, and I mentioned that my source from that was a Knowing Better video. It's called Subverting the Narrative, Holocaust Denial and the Lost Cause. And it kind of goes over how some of what Jordan Peterson says is kind of plays into genocide denying rhetoric. But anyway, I have another one. So this is an episode of Head in the Office titled Your Ass is Grassley, featuring Mikal Goodman. And Gavin, I mentioned this to you on the phone, but Mikal Goodman is a city councilman from Pontiac, Michigan, local boy. He's 22 now, but he was 21 when he was elected. So I believe he's one of, if not the youngest city councilman in Pontiac. Great accomplishment. He's a socialist. He's an open socialist. And he got elected by just telling people what he wants to do when he is in power. He talks about the stuff that he wants to get done, and people hear it and they're like, oh, like that's some shit that I need. I'm gonna vote for you. And that's good. I like that. And he's talked about, like, he talks in the episode about his experience being a city councilman, and it's straight. It's great. It's just a good interview. You should check it out if you want. It's good. That's all I'll say about that. I have a couple videos about Avatar. One of them is, why does Avatar 2 look so real? And it kind of breaks down. So there's one specific shot in the Avatar 2 trailer that like broke everyone's brain. If you hover over the "why does Avatar 2 look so real" thing,
wait, is that
show
the one
thumbnail.
where he's like grabbing onto to
like the leather,
like a leather, right? The leather strap, and it's because it's not CGI; it's just a blue hand.
I don't know what it is, but like the video talks about how like people don't really know what it is, like how exactly they did that shot, because it like it looks incredibly real, but there's like probably some CGI there. Anyway, it's a good video about an amazing shot in a trailer. I just think it's really cool.
A simple and amazing shot. Like,
yeah, it's simple, but like when you really think about it, it's like, oh wait, hold on, that does not look computer generated, but like it's gotta be. Like some of it has gotta be. And the mystery is like what percentage of it is fake, what's real. But anyway, I have another video which I meant to talk about last week, but I kind of forgot. It's titled "Why Avatar Has the Most Ironic Soundtrack of All Time." That video I think is great. It's a breakdown of how the first Avatar's soundtrack was conceptualized, because basically like a big part of it was James Cameron wanted it to be like alien. He wanted it to be a fusion of all kinds of different types of music, all different types of like conceptualizations of what music is. And then the people that he hired to do it, who are like world-class musicians, he hired them to put that together, and they did. And then he listened to it and he was like, this doesn't sound like anything I've ever heard of, which is what he asked for. And then he's like, redo it, but without all the weird stuff. And then it just ended up being more close to like a standard Hollywood score.
Right.
Yeah. They like infused a lot of elements from like Asian, like heritage and all that. And like different cultural, like, representations of music. And then he's just kind of like, nah, make it more white. Like that's really what it is at the end of the day. Just make it more white, more Western.
Exactly.
And it's in a movie about like basically Pocahontas. It's a movie about people who are aliens and who are also indigenous people being ravaged by the white man. Yeah, that's why the title of the video is "Why Avatar Has the Most Ironic Soundtrack of All Time." Yeah, actually, when I started the video, I thought it said iconic, and I was like, okay, yeah, it's probably got an iconic soundtrack. And then I got to the part of the video where it's like James Cameron being like, no, make it more white. And I was like, wait, what was the title of this? Oh,
right.
Yeah, that is an ironic soundtrack. I'll let you do your thing, and then I'll do my last one.
Actually, I have two now.
Oh, okay. Well, that changes everything.
So my first one is, if you are a fan of like Kerbal Space Program or space or flight simulators, I highly recommend getting a joystick. Hang on just a second. I'm grabbing my joystick.
Yeah. Hey, not on camera.
So I got this joystick on Amazon. It was about $30. It's a little flight simulator joystick, and it works.
That's great.
That's that's what I,
do you know the game Star Wars Squadrons?
No.
So,
but now I do.
That's great. It came out like a couple years ago, but it's basically like a Star Wars like dogfighting game, like spaceships in space and stuff. And it has pretty decent VR support. So like you can play the whole game in VR. And when I played it, I played with an Xbox controller, and it's pretty cool. It's really immersive, but a lot of people went really all out with it, with like multi-$1,000 flight sim setups, and there were some pretty cool like setups that people did.
Yeah, some people have like full on like multiple screens for multiple like display angles.
Yeah. Well, like with Squadrons, like it's VR, so like your line of sight, like as far as that goes, it's incredibly immersive. And then even the controls are incredibly immersive because you're like actually piloting something.
Well, and that's what I wanted to bring up about like flying, at least for a Kerbal Space Program, about flying planes with a joystick. I can now do a lot of maneuvers that I used to just not be able to do with normal analog. I mean, this is still digital, but like it's digital analog kind of mix.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's like an analog control. It's not just like either the button is pushed or it's not.
It's a variable control sort of thing. And I can like I can do maneuvers now on a plane that I used to not be able to do because it used to be just like a bank and yank is what it's called in the flight biz, where you would just roll and then pull up to turn.
Yeah.
Right. Well, now I can hit my yaw up a little bit and turn that way, and then get my roll going a little bit, and then I can do that like fancy sort of swoop, like side swoop.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just really fun. It's definitely a learning curve too. Once you get kind of used to piloting things with the keyboard, you're like, yeah, I can do anything. That's fine. But now that I have this controller, my brain is having to adjust to things not being either on or off.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'll pitch up, but I'll hit a little bit of yaw on accident, and I'll start going to the side a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's not what I wanted to do, but I have to fix it anyway, right? So like it's a whole learning curve that I'm so fascinated with learning right now.
Yeah, I think it would be really cool to play Microsoft Flight Simulator with the full setup.
Oh, right.
That would be so cool.
Yeah, on Amazon. It's all on Amazon too. You can get joystick, pedals, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, dude. I just cannot get over how some people just go so like all out with it.
Right.
Yeah, it's like it would be cool to do. I just don't know if I'd spend that much money on it, but
no,
I respect it if like that's your thing. Because like we all have a thing that we'll sink thousands of dollars into.
Right. Yeah, and you can get pedals that are like $50, and then like a joystick that's like $30, and that's like a $80 investment. So
yeah,
not as immersive, probably not as quality, but like how quality can you make a pedal?
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Like it'll do the trick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all I got to say about that.
That's great. So you said you had two things?
I do, actually. So another YouTube channel I've been watching is called Gaming History. He talks about gaming history.
It's called Gaming History?
Yeah, specifically just like about the development and economics of some of our favorite games like Mario and
Do you mean Gaming Historian?
Tetris. Maybe it's Gaming Historian. Hang on.
Yeah, because I know that channel. They do a lot of good stuff.
Hang on a sec. I'm just making sure I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
Gaming Historian. He made a video that I highly recommend. He made this 4 years ago. It's the story of Tetris. And he talks about the whole like economic reason why they did what they did, how they did what they did.
Mm-hmm.
And because one interesting fact is that Tetris was a game developed technically by the Soviet Union.
Yeah. I've seen that video.
Right, and so they licensed it out to Nintendo.
And wasn't it developed by just like a guy who got bored?
By just a guy. And it's funny because they licensed it out to like another USSR country that then sponsored it, like co-licensed it to like other developers, right?
Mm-hmm.
That the USSR wasn't aware of, and so the whole thing happened. He does a really good job at explaining what happened and how it happened. At the end of the day, though, one little anecdote I found was really interesting. So, who's the guy who made Pokemon? I forget his name.
Oh,
Shigeru Miyamoto?
no, that's the Mario and Zelda guy. I know, yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I think it was that guy. Anyway, he was like one of the developers, right? And the CEO of Nintendo calls him and he goes, "Hey, do you think Tetris is a good game?" And he goes, "Yes, I do think it's a good game." And he goes, "Well, why do you think it's such a good game?" And he goes, "Because all of your secretaries are playing it nonstop."
That's great.
That's why it's a good game.
Yeah.
So they try to buy it from the Soviet Union. Hijinks happens. It's a really good story.
Yeah.
And real story. It's real.
Yeah.
That happened.
Gaming Historian has done a lot of great videos for a long time too. Like their oldest videos are from 13 years ago.
Damn.
Yeah. Like their first video,
Damn.
NES2 Top Loader, is from when is it? 2009, October 22nd, 2009. It's so old that it was uploaded in 480p. That's how old it is.
Wow.
But like it's like I've seen the older videos. They're good quality. I commend Gaming Historian for putting out great content consistently for a long time.
I just want to point out too, a kid who was born when that episode was put up on YouTube can now like watch it and fully understand what he's talking about.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Like a kid who was born when that came out can now play the game that he's talking about. I think that's really cool.
That is really cool. Yeah, like that. The oldest videos came out before the 3DS was a glimmer in Shigeru Miyamoto's eye.
Right.
That's great. That's really cool. And they're still doing stuff. Really cool. The latest videos from 2 days ago, Batter Up plays Super Nintendo with a baseball bat.
All right.
Yeah, that's great.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Good channel.
Yeah.
All right. My last recommendation is a podcast that I talked to Gavin about over the phone. It's called It's Probably Not Aliens. I like what they do. It's two YouTubers, Step Back and Nerd Sync, two great YouTubers independently. One of them talks about like historical kind of like political topics with a lot of nuance, and it's really good, well researched. And one of them, Nerd Sync, talks about like pop culture, like he does a lot of like Scooby-Doo stuff and talks about like media, and they kind of come together to make this show called It's Probably Not Aliens. The whole like theme of it is they examine claims by ancient aliens and by extension the Chariot of the Gods by Eric von Daniken. And they kind of lay out the background for Chariot of the Gods and ancient aliens and all that. It turns out all the people behind it are not great people, as you might be able to imagine. And they just kind of debunk it. Not with like, we're destroying you with facts and logic kind of thing. Like they very explicitly in their first few episodes are like, hey, listen, we're going at this as neutrally as we can given the subject matter, but we're not trying to disprove ancient aliens. We're just examining what they have to say, comparing it to the facts, and we're gonna give you this information, tell you the story. And it's great. It's great. It's well researched. It's well produced. It's just good. It's entertaining, I think. And one thing that they talk about, and one thing that makes it kind of important now, is they kind of connect like ancient astronaut theory and stuff like that, this kind of conspiracy mindset to just like it's anti-Semitic roots. Like it turns out a lot of this stuff traces back to, and this is why the Jews run the world. Right. Like we've talked about it here before. All of this stuff just traces back to anti-Semitism.
Well, I'm actively trying to fight against it too.
Yeah. I don't know how much you want to talk about that.
I'll wait until things have blown over, but
yeah. But yeah, moral of the story is it turns out I thought that we were kind of all on the same page regarding anti-Semitism. Turns out we're not.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to like it feels weird having to debunk anti-Semitism, but it's good that there are people doing it.
Right. I just, it's just weird. Like, especially with these like grand schemey sort of things of like, how do you narrow that down to one person?
Yeah.
Like
they take real world stuff and just make it like a Legion of Doom kind of thing.
Right.
Like, there's a group of people that hate you and control the world. It's the rich. Like, it's the rich and powerful. Why do you got to make it like an ethnic thing?
Right. But also just like the logical fallacy of like, how can a group of people rule the world? One, not be known about, or somehow not like be notable, right?
Right.
But also, two, why do you think maybe the poor college student, right, who is maybe $100,000 in debt, is somehow a part of this grand cabal?
Yeah.
And has the time to worry about this grand cabal of conspiracy, right? Like, it's stupid. It's just stupid. Hate is just stupid, in my opinion.
Well, you got to question the story you're being told if it includes, and then they covered up any trace of evidence that they did this. Like the moon landing, and then they covered up the fact that this was fake. Like, the Jews did this, and then they covered up any amount of evidence that would connect them to it.
Right. It's just sad. It really just is, especially for a community that's been historically victimized and that has historically gotten... The thing that gets me is historically they've gotten, like, for lack of better terms, like allyship too little too late.
Yeah.
Right? It's only after they've gotten a punch that someone's like, hey, that's not right. So, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't understand how in this day and age you can think that the Jews are on top of anything.
Right.
This historically marginalized community.
And I'm not saying that there aren't Jewish people that are in power. I'm just saying those two things aren't related.
Yeah, like, when people criticize Israel, like, they get conflated with anti-Semites, and anti-Semites conflate Israel with the Jews. But it's one thing to criticize a government. It's one thing to just hate a group of people. And like, I just, why do people do it? Why?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But like my point with that is like the people who are anti-Semitic are like, oh, Israel does bad things, which they do. And then they connect that to like the cabal. When it's just a government doing stuff that governments do. Yeah.
It's not like, I forget the leader of Israel. I want to say Netanyahu.
Yeah.
I think he got kicked out, though. I think it's a new person.
Oh, I don't know. I don't keep up with their politics.
But he doesn't just send out a mass email to like all the Jewish people.
Right.
Like saying like, hey, look at what we did. It's like, no, people can be of the same religion and of differing opinion.
Right. Well, especially in America, rich people are disproportionately white, and like the rich people will do all kinds of shady shit to screw over the poor, but it's not like you being a white person are involved in that.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
100%.
Why involve innocent people?
Why make enemies when you can make friends?
Yeah.
That's like, that's what I don't understand.
Yeah. Well, like when has history like gone in a better direction after targeting an ethnic group? You know what I mean? Like you never hear like, then we killed all of the Jews or the Muslims or what have you, and then everything was good. No, that's not how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But
at the end of the day, anti-Semitism is bad.
Yeah. Say what you will bad. About anti-Semitism. I don't like it.
I don't like it either. I think it's icky. It makes me feel not good.
Yeah, it sucks that you have like people have to say that now. Like I thought we just knew. But anyway, I think that's the show then.
think that's the show.
That's the show. And with that, it feels weird transitioning to the outro now, but thank you for listening to another episode of Bold of You to Say. If you liked it, then like it. If you subscribe, then subscribe. And if you comment, it better be nice. Nice comments only. We have very fragile egos. If you liked it, then leave us a review on Podchaser or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you can leave a review. If you want to, do it. Again, nice comments only. Subscribe on Patreon if you want early access to episodes, or if you just want to help keep the lights on, whatever you want.
And if you were born in the 50s, donate to us on Patreon.
Yeah, on Patreon. Yeah.
Patreon.
Yeah. Subscribe to the Clips channel. It's linked in the description. I'm working on more stuff to put up there. And if you... What was the next thing I was going to say? I don't remember. If you... Look at these turkeys. If you want to get something done.
Turkeys and the countries that I've been to with the
follow me on social media. Don't follow Gavin anywhere. Don't
stop
do
it. Don't follow me.
You don't want to.
It's nothing.
There's nothing to see here, folks. But follow me. Follow me on Instagram.
Follow Alex
on Tumblr. See what I tumble. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Maybe someday I will make more things there. If you wish upon a star and hope and dream sufficiently, maybe someday.
That's like the worst instruction manual for how to get a wish granted. First, locate a star.
Yeah.
Second, think of something you want while looking at it.
Yeah. Anyway, have a good 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. our official business hours, and let's look at these turkeys.
Let's look at these countries.
Reminds me of some of the countries I've been to.
It reminds me of some of the flies I've seen. And
look, I think of myself I think like a fly.
I think of myself as though I am a fly.